Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your host, Larry Brantley, back from a week of sunshine and tall drinks. It's getting hot out there, but it's cool that you're here with us. This is UCaaS Connection. Now, today marks a humble yet very satisfying milestone for UCaaS Connection, episode number 10. And what a better way to celebrate than with Kevin Zimmerman from TCG. Karl Beteson brings a little humanity into this tough week for our nation, and of course, your stories are always top of mind, starting with some big moves throughout the industry. Nancy Seco has the latest. Nancy.
Thank you, Larry, and welcome back. Business as usual may never actually be as usual again, but there are signs that point in the right direction. Most notably, an increase in new hires across the industry. Now let's take a quick peek at this week's substantial moves in a segment I'd like to call Changing the Channel Through Great Hires, Focus, and Effective Team Building. Wait, what? What's wrong with that? It's too long. Fine. How about channel changers? Bullseye Telecom has hired channel vet Tony Franchi, previously with 365 data centers, as its new vice president of channel sales. Franchi touted Bullseye's successful 20-year history and projected long-term growth for both clients and sales agents as a deciding factor for joining the team. Bullseye's sales approach is channel-centric, and Franchi has stated an immediate goal of increasing awareness of Bullseye's expanded product set, which goes beyond its foundational broadband and voice aggregation to include multiple voice and data products like hosted VoIP, SIP trunking, and contact center, while also delivering security, internet, fixed wireless, IoT, and SD-WAN services. Reach out to Tony Franchi and the team at Bullseye to say congrats on a big win and to learn more. AireSpring, featured in our inaugural episode of UCaaS Connection, just named Chris Breving its new Director of Access Product Management. Breving brings more than 32 years of experience in data and voice network services, as well as cost management expertise to the job. Breving joins the AireSpring team during a time of massive global growth. John Young, Senior VP and Channel Chief for AireSpring, says this is only the beginning.
AireSpring's a 100% channel company, and as such, it's really important for us to invest in people to support the channel. Chris Breving's one of many strategic hires we've made recently. He'll be supporting us on the access management side to really strengthen our relationships with the more than 30 carriers that we have in and eyes with. So we're really excited about what he can bring to the table to support our quoting needs and our agents in the field. We also made some strategic hires on my team, the channel team, out in the field. We hired 4 regional channel managers and also a business development manager, a national director who will support our master agent, Scott Haley. Really excited about bringing him on board. We also made some strategic hires to support this new field team with our sales engineering team. We've hired 2 sales engineers nationally to help. So overall, about 8 people have come on board to support the channel. And with these new additions, AireSpring is excited about the future of the channel and how we can support the agents moving forward.
And always in the headlines for making big moves is RingCentral, announcing this week the addition of Phil Sorgen to be its new Chief Revenue Officer. Sorgen was corporate VP for Microsoft's Enterprise Commercial Group for 24 years before arriving at RingCentral. Sorgen will be responsible for the UCaaS provider's global sales organization, which includes service providers as well as channel and strategic partners. And staying with RingCentral, the latest RingCentral partner program, Ignite, aims to help partners own the entire sales cycle with businesses of up to 400 employees. RingCentral Ignite builds on the company's Channel Harmony program, giving partners even more flexibility in choosing the sales process that best suits the needs of each individual prospect. This includes quoting, closing, upsell, and cross-sell opportunities with SMBs. For larger, more complex deals, partners will continue to use Channel Harmony for sales resources. Maybe we can change the name of this segment to Ignite Harmony. What do you think, Larry?
How about this? Inspire humanity. Because that's exactly what our first guest has done and is doing every day with the full support of his employers at Jabra. Karl Beteson, recent winner of Jabra's Citizenship Award, joins us now to tell us about the power of corporate social responsibility and how even the smallest program can help make a difference in any organization. Karl, welcome to UCaaS Connection.
Fantastic introduction. Thank you so much, Larry.
My pleasure. Let me ask you this right off the bat. Given with what we've been dealing with all these past few months, we need this chance to stop and talk about the positive impact that every business can create. Now, your team at Jabra seems to have really embraced that. So how does your mission statement speak to this?
Great question. So our mission statement is changing people's lives through the power of sound and video. And for this presentation, I added people with big hearts to the mix here because there are so many employees who are actively wanting to do something more to kind of help others and to give back. So I think my goal for today in discussing with you is to show everyone how the smallest of ideas can help shape or reshape your organization to do a little bit more, to do a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, how did the program begin and how has it evolved?
Good question. It began really small, just a couple of employees wanting to do good. And gradually it expanded from there. The pictures, I think you can see the slides here where the pictures on the right will give you a quick glimpse of some of the people we were able to make smile during the weakest of times. And there are too many stories to include in this presentation, so I just picked some of the ones that meant something to me and I thought would resonate with your audience.
That's great.
It started with as simple as replying to emails coming in from local charities and people in need, listening to our employees, finding out who they knew, who they wanted to help, and then from there, actively looking at social media for other people to reach out to. And that was the beginning of our journey.
Now, you've got lots of great examples of this giving spirit, and I just saw on that slide something about children's outreach. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this was this gets me this gets me every time.
I understand, man. It's okay.
Yeah, the innocence of children, and some of them just have to go through so much, and it can be heartbreaking. But to be able to jump in sometimes and bring a smile to these kids' faces really just means so much to myself, the employees, and even the caregivers for that matter. The child up on the right here was fighting a brain tumor. And it was an internal employee who knew of this story. So we reached out to the mom and said, hey, can we send something to the hospital to cheer this little guy up? And the mom was flabbergasted. She's like, yes, please do. That's great. So we sent him the headset. Months later, we heard back and the little boy's doing fine. So I got to share that with the internal employees, which, again, really resonated, letting them know we were out there doing our own little part. And then, from there, you can see Charlotte, the little girl in the picture, whose mom reached out to us to help with some donations for a silent auction to generate some revenue to help fight this disease. And in talking to her, we also asked if we could send her daughter something. And judging by the smile on Charlotte's face, I think it was well received.
I think you're right. Those are great stories. Let's transition here just for a minute. If we've seen this for months now, our frontline workers are really holding so many people together. How is Jabra caring for them?
Yeah, so again, and it gets into who's being affected at what times, and being able to shift to address different people, different crises. The frontline workers, all near and dear to our heart. We wanted to do something for them. We wanted to let them know they were appreciated, that we needed them, that we love them, that we care for them. And we sent out over 200 headsets to frontline workers across North America, everywhere from some parts of Canada to all the way to Alaska. And we found them through our own internal employees who all knew someone, and we asked them to submit who they knew, who might be willing to accept a gift, who could accept a gift, and it built from there, and we sent out as many as we could.
That's really amazing. Now, tell me a little bit about Jabra's Day of Giving, because that even goes further beyond, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually, great that you bring that up. As the executive committee saw the successes of the smaller programs, they wondered, okay, what could happen if we had a formal program within the company? So the senior leadership team sat with me and a couple others to discuss that. And the end result was a day of giving where employees were encouraged to take a day off, paid day off, and help a local charitable organization. And the first year we had about 70% employee participation rate. The next year, closer to 85%, and this year we're striving for 95%.
That is amazing. And you've kind of already answered my last question, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell me some more stories to talk about some of the more immediate, actionable results you've seen from all of these initiatives.
I think the most actionable results we're seeing is, one, the outside community really appreciates being heard from, being taken care of, and two, the internal community, and that's the motivation you can give to your own employees to kind of escape what you do on a normal daily basis in your job and think about others and help others.
Karl Beteson and the team at Jabra. That is kindness, humanity, and leadership at a time we need it most. Now, Karl, before we let you go, I have got to ask, what is this camera you're using?
Oh, thank you. So this is the brand new, we had purchased a company called Altea a little over a year ago, and they made the Jabra Panicast camera. And it's the only 4K 180-degree camera in use today. It's a very smart technology. And you can see all 180 degrees, so it's utilizing all of your office space. In this case, my home office, which I've decorated for the occasion. But as you look at the cost of real estate, a lot of the cameras out there weren't seeing the full room. So this helps you see the full room and utilize all of that real estate.
I have to tell you, man, I'm an old school film guy, and I literally feel like I'm looking at a 70 millimeter print of an old John Huston film. It's fantastic. And so are you, my friend Karl Beteson. Thank you so much for your time today. You take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
Now, if you want to support Jabra and their programs to promote social corporate responsibility, reach out directly to Karl at kbeteson@jabra.com. And if you want to be on this show, we'll make it easy for you.
If you would like to be a featured guest on UCaaS Connection, let us know. We are here to help you tell your story. Visit us at ucaasbeat.com or through our UCaaS Connection social media pages. You can request an interview, submit stories, updates, big wins, or anything else that's newsworthy by emailing us at featureus@ucaasbeat.com. These are your stories, and this is your show.
Our next guest represents Telecom Consulting Group, and TCG partners represent more than 180 different carriers to provide competitive technology and cost-effective solutions to thousands of businesses. They're the master agent, and this is the Master Agent Master, Mr. Kevin Zimmerman, Vice President of National Sales for TCG. Kevin, hello, and welcome to UCaaS Connection.
Hello, how are you? I'm certainly looking forward to not having to wear one of these things anytime soon.
Well, we are properly socially distanced. So first of all, tell me a little bit about TCG.
All right. Well, a few things about TCG, and first off, thank you for having me on the show. On behalf of TCG and all of our partners, it is truly a privilege and an honor. So thank you very much. TCG, we started off as a small family-style business, very, very small, in fact. And now I'm proud to say that we are the largest master agent on the Eastern Seaboard. I think there's a graphic up, right now that kind of hits some of the highlights and the numbers about us. But essentially, who we are is we have 4,500 partners across the U.S. and growing that are now managed, by our 19 channel managers. I'm proud to say that in 2019, we experienced a 30% growth rate across all carriers. And something else to go with the 30-year term or the 30% term, we're happy to celebrate our 30th year anniversary this year. In fact, TCG hit a milestone, just like your 10th episode. We're celebrating 30 years in business this year. Throughout that period, we've never canceled a commissionable agent. In fact, we still pay the families of a few partners who have unfortunately passed away during that 30-year history, going back to, TCG means family. We paid out just over $30 million in commissions, last year to our partners. That includes residuals and upfront spiffs. We now have just over 60 family members within the TCG family. That includes, our back office employees, our channel managers, and including our commissions team, which is important to our partners. And then last but not least, something that's very important about us that is a huge differentiator here in the channel is the fact that we do pass through 100% of all of the bonus from every single carrier to every partner, regardless of deal size or the success within the TCG partner program.
That is all very well said, my friend. Now, let's get to that. How would you define the type of partner that works best with TCG?
So I would say that a partner that works the best here with TCG is someone that's looking for a true partnership. And when I mean true partnership, I mean somebody that is not afraid to roll up their sleeves and jump in the trenches with them on a daily basis. I think that's one thing that makes our channel managers, very uniquely different from some of our competition. But more importantly, someone looking for a family atmosphere, right? We're definitely not the kind of rigid corporate culture. We're flexible enough and scalable enough to work with partners of all sizes. And I mean partners from, Dan with the van, all the way up to 100 plus employee, managed service provider. I think at TCG that it doesn't matter if you're a newbie or a veteran, right? Everyone's welcome here.
That's great.
Last but not least.
Yes, please.
Sorry, I was about to say that our award-winning back office, taking that modern approach that we mentioned, right, but also incorporating kind of an old school aspect to the business. We really do, we kind of came from a transactional business, and those that believe that the transactional nature of this business is gone are sorely mistaken. It really does take somebody to, kind of touch and feel that order all the way through into completion. Something I always like to say, it's kind of like burping and diapering a baby. You just got to kind of get through the whole process until it can stand on its own.
Fair enough. Now, here's a question I've asked before on this, Kevin, and or on this program, and I'm going to ask you, why should a partner work with a master agent?
That's actually a fantastic question, and I appreciate you asking. I've spoke about this at channel partners. Truth be told, I would rather, quote unquote, lose business to one of my competitors, one of my fellow master agents, than to ever see a partner sign a contract direct. What it does is it puts partners at a huge amount of risk by not going through a broker or not going through a master agent. So with that said, I'd like to give a shout out to the other master agents that have been on the show previous to myself, because without them and without the large group that we are, although we're competitors, we're still friends at the end of the day. And I'd like to thank them and give a shout out to them because they truly validate everything that we do on a daily basis in driving a value add to our partners within this channel.
You are a gentleman, sir. Hey, what are some recent big wins you can tell us about, Kevin?
All right. Well, everyone always wants to talk about the big wins, right? But, here at TCG, we celebrate wins of all sizes. But to talk about some marquee deals, if you will, we recently, just recently, in fact, just this month, it's ironic that you were talking about Bullseye. We just secured a 6-figure deal with Bullseye, all 100% POTS lines. That partner is going to receive a spiff of just over $250,000, which is amazing for something that, kind of simply just won't go away, right? Plain old telephone lines. So that was a really big win for us. In addition to that, shout out to one of our diamond sponsors. We had a really big win with Claro. It was roughly $250,000 of monthly recurring revenue. And that was an IoT play or an Internet of Things play, where essentially we were providing those services to a Latin American ambulance company. Last but not least, throughout the whole, kind of COVID climate or the Corona economy, as I've been calling it, healthcare has been on fire. And we've had multiple six-figure wins within the healthcare space, especially forklifting some of these legacy MPLS some of these legacy MPLS networks into some of the more new generational products such as SD-WAN.
I'm glad you brought up Corona because it's something that's still with us, and so I do want to ask you, what are some ways that TCG is working with its partners during this period of uncertainty?
I would say it's twofold. So first things first, the way we're working with partners is simple. I don't think any situation has proven the value and the beauty of a residual income stream than this period we just went through. I've talked to numerous partners who, they were able to keep their staff, they were able to keep their headcount intact, right, without getting rid of anybody, due to the reoccurring residual, right, that they receive either from their master agent like TCG or other distributors. I've heard multiple stories throughout this process from a lot of our partners who are entrepreneurs. Some of them sole breadwinners for their company, for their families, where spouses or siblings, were right, they lost their job or they were furloughed. I've heard numerous stories throughout the entire ordeal that our partners were able to use their residual commission to make mortgage payments for or help loan money to their siblings or good friends or business partners, in order to not feel so much of the stress and the strain, right? So establishing another recurring residual, like an income stream, right, for your essentially for your company, just might be the most powerful thing, right, that you've done for not only your company but also your family. Second thing is we've made it fun. I would say that the webinars, while they were interesting in the beginning, they became a little tired and a little played out. Shout out to Comcast and Spectrum. They brought an award-winning cooking class right into our partners' kitchens, where we did a Taco Tuesday for Cinco de Mayo. I would say that the happy hours and the wine tastings and the whiskey tastings, and we even did something with 8x8 where we actually brought a comedian into our partner's home. Just later this afternoon, we have another webinar where we're doing tavern trivia. We're doing bar trivia with about 25 partners. Zero business, zero product, nothing. Just trying to, make our time at home or, working from home or winning from home just a little bit more fun. I think the social atmosphere of the channel, and the events that our carriers and our other master agents throw are a huge part of what drives people into this business. So keeping it fun, keeping it fresh has been huge for us.
That is huge. Will we see some President's Club activities this year?
I regret to inform our partner community as well as everybody else that we did have to postpone our 2020 President's Club, simply because our President's Club is not just a cruise to Mexico or a small stint in the Caribbean islands. We truly pride ourselves in hosting award-winning and bucket list type of events. To give you an idea, last year, TCG, we rented out a castle about an hour outside of Dublin, Ireland, and we hosted and housed 200 of our best partners and their families in a castle outside of Dublin. Our President's Club, right, for this year, which we technically should be on right now, which is a little sad, was going to be hosted in Mallorca in Spain. And to the lovely people of Spain, I say Viva España, right, our hearts are with you, right, as we know that the Mediterranean region was some of the hardest hit, right, by COVID-19. So, but the good thing about President's Club is there's still time to qualify. Don't want to sound like a used car salesman here, but the qualification period does end at the end of this month. There's still time to qualify. There are still ways to win. We have 45 different ways to win the trip, including a blanket aggregation of only $50,000 in MRR between the time that it started until right the next 3 weeks. So next year we're heading back to Spain, and we're going to make it even better and even bigger than we were originally going to be on the trip now, unfortunately.
Outstanding. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, let's end this on a high note, my friend. We are celebrating our 10th episode, so this is your chance to give all of our viewers your top 10 reasons to partner with TCG. Go.
I gotta say, I always wanted to do a top 10 list on David Letterman as a kid. So this is kind of like a dream come true. So I'll just rifle through this the way that he would. First things first is, TCG means family. That's not just a rally cry. You're going to see everything that we have on social media and everything that says hashtag TCG means family. We believe it and we wear it on our sleeves every single day. This is a relationship business, right? Every single partner at TCG receives dedicated channel management support. That's what I was talking about before. Someone that's not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get to work with you. That's your TCG channel manager. We have a phrase here at TCG, and it's people over portals. We still think that in this business, there's still a lot of transactions. There's still a lot of that kind of touch and feel right aspect of the business. So there's just certain things that people can do that a portal can't, and that's why we have our TCG family members here to back you up. We pass through 100% of all the spiff and bonus to every single partner for every single carrier, regardless of deal size. When you see all these big spiffs that are being advertised, 500, 600, 700, a couple vendors were even doing 11x, right, essentially during Corona. We pass through 100% of that. So if you see an advertisement, no matter what, you're going to receive that full spiff. Whether you're a newbie or a veteran, right, the TCG agent agreement is only 3.5 paragraphs long. There are no quotas. There are no minimums whatsoever. We don't hold your feet to the fire for any reason. 6, full evergreen. Every single carrier we sign an agreement with has a fully baked in evergreen where, you're going to receive your full blown residual, right, like regardless of contract length. So you sell a 36-month you sell a 36-month deal, you're going to receive commissions on month 37, month 38, etc. 7, zero fear contracts. I'd like to give a shout out to Amy Bailey, where she was talking about on your show previously that, we sign the contracts so you don't have to. We fully believe in that, right? That goes back to not having to do it on your own, right? The reason for signing with a large national master agent is so you don't have to worry about all the legalese and all the nonsense that's embedded in some of these contracts. 8, right, your ability to borrow against your residual. As you grow your residual commission with TCG, it truly becomes the greatest collateral that you could ever have with a bank. So if you have a large project or something coming up where you need to borrow against your residual, right, we are happy to talk to you about that. 9, 185 carriers, one-stop shop, baby. That's what it all comes down to. Last but not least, we've talked about it. Right, President's Club ends on the 1st of July. It is not your average trip. It is a bucket list type of event. I gave the example of the castle. Proud to say that in Mallorca, we took over an entire resort on the side of a cliff that's overlooking the entire port of the Palma de Mallorca. So surely a unforgettable trip. We look forward to seeing our winners there in 2021.
That is a brilliant top 10 list. Kevin Zimmerman, my friend, it has been an absolute pleasure, and we wish you and the whole TCG team great success. You take care, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, before we sign off, it seems only fitting that we should do our own top 10. So here goes, top 10 reasons why we love doing this show. Let's hit it. Let's hit it. Here we go. Top 10 reasons to watch UCaaS Connection. Number 1, our guests. Number 2, your stories. Number 3, our guests. Number 4, your stories. And number 5, you can kind of see a pattern going on there. And well, there you have it. The numbers do not lie. So send us your stories. Come join our show. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And let us bring your story to the rest of the world. Well, we'll see you next week, but until then, my friends, stay safe, be kind, and always, no matter what, stay connected.